with your friends and viewers. Today's subject is Lottery United States history. Let's talk about Lottery United States history. A lottery is a game of chance in which people pay for the opportunity to win prizes. Part of the money taken in by a lottery is used to award the winners and to pay the costs of administering the lottery. The money left over is profit. Lotteries are extremely popular and legal in more than 100 countries. In the United States, all lotteries are operated by state governments, which have granted themselves the sole right to do so. In other words, they are monopolies that don't allow any commercial lotteries to compete against them. The profits from United States lotteries are used solely to fund government programs. As of August 2008, lotteries operated in 42 states and the District of Columbia. In addition, lottery tickets could be legally purchased by an adult physically present in a lottery state, even if that adult didn't reside in the state. According to North American Association of State of Provincial Lotteries (NASPL), Americans wagered $57.4 million in lotteries in fiscal year FA 2006. US lottery sales were up from $52.6 million in FY 2005, an increase of 9%. Lottery history. Early history. The drawing of lots to determine ownership or other rights is recorded in many ancient documents. The practice became common in Europe in the late 15th and early 16th centuries. Lotteries were first tied directly to the United States in 1612 when King James 1566 to 1625 of England created a lottery to provide funds to Jamestown, Virginia, the first permanent British settlement in North America. Lotteries were used by public and private organizations after that time to raise money for towns, wards, colleges, and public works projects. An early American lottery conducted by George Washington 1732 1799 in the 1760s was designed to finance construction of the mountain road in Virginia. Benjamin Franklin 1706-1790 supported lotteries to pay for canals during the American Revolution. 1775-1783 John Hancock 1793 ran a lottery to finance the rebuilding of Faneuil Hall in Boston. Lotteries fell into disfavor in the 1820s because of concerns that they are harmful to the public. New York was the first state to pass a constitutional prohibition against them. The rise and fall of lotteries. The Southern states relied on lotteries after the Civil War, 1861-1865, to finance reconstructions, 1865-1877. The Louisiana Lottery, in particular, became widely popular. According to the Louisiana Lottery Corporation in History of Lottery, September 2008, in 1868, the Louisiana Lottery Company was granted permission by the state legislature to operate as the state's only lottery provider. In exchange, the company agreed to pay $40,000 per year for 25 years to the Charity Hospital of New Orleans. The company was allowed to keep all other lottery revenues and to pay no taxes on those revenues. The Louisiana Lottery was popular nationwide. 93% of its revenue came from out of state. It was also extremely profitable, returning a 48% profit to its operators. In 1890, Congress banned the nailing of lottery materials. The Louisiana Lottery was abolished in 1894. after Congress passed a law against the transport of lottery tickets across state lines. Following its closure, the public learned that the lottery had been operated by a northern crime syndicate that regularly bribed legislators and committed widespread deception and fraud. The resulting scandal was huge and widely publicized. Public opinion turned against lotteries, and by the end of the 19th century, they were outlawed across the country. Negative edicts about gambling began to soften during the early 20th century, particularly after the failure of Prohibition 1920-1933. The state of Nevada legalized casino gambling in the 1930s, and gambling for charitable purposes became more commonplace across the country. Still, lingering fears about fraud kept public sentiment against lotteries for 2 more decades. Rebirth in the 1960s. In history of the New Hampshire Lottery, the Commission notes that in 1963 the New Hampshire legislature authorized states to raise revenue. The state had no sales or state income tax at that time, and it desperately needed money for education programs. Patterned after the popular Irish sweepstakes, the game was much different from the lotteries of the 21st century. Tickets were sold for $3 and drawings were held infrequently. The biggest prizes were tied to the outcomes of particular horse races at the Rockingham Park racetrack in Salem, New Hampshire. Nearly $5.7 million was wagered during the lottery's first year. The New York Lottery stays in New York Lottery Mission, October 2008. That New York introduced a lottery in 1967. It was particularly successful, grossing $53.6 million during its first year. It also enticed established lotteries during the 1970s. Connecticut, Delaware, Illinois, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, and Vermont. Analysts suggest that lotteries became so firmly entrenched throughout the Northeast for 3 reasons. Each state needed to raise money for public projects without increasing taxes. Each state had a large Catholic population that was generally tolerant of gambling, and history shows that states are most likely to start a lottery if one is already offered a nearby state. For example, Ron Stotthill and Ron Nixon report in Four Schools lottery payoffs fall short of promises. New York Times, October 7, 2007, that Michael F. Easley, 1950, the governor of North Carolina, said before his states establish a lottery, "Our people are playing the lottery, we just need to decide which schools we should fund, other states are ours." During the 1980s, lottery favors spread south and west. 17 states, Arizona, California, Colorado, Florida, Idaho, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Missouri, Montana, Oregon, South Dakota, Virginia, Washington, West Virginia, and Wisconsin, plus the District of Columbia started lotteries. 6 more states, Georgia, Louisiana, Minnesota, Nebraska, New Mexico, and Texas, started lotteries during the 1990s. They were joined after 2000 by North Carolina, North Dakota, Oklahoma, South Carolina, and Tennessee. Most people approve of lotteries. More people approve of lotteries than actually buy tickets and participate, although the gap between approval and participation rates seems to be narrowing. Lottery games. Early lottery games were simple raffles in which A person purchased a ticket printed with a number. The player might have had to wait for weeks for a drawing to determine if the ticket was evident. These types of games, called passive drawing games, were the dominant lottery games in 1973. By 1997, they had ceased to exist as consumers demanded more exciting games that provided quicker payoffs and more betting options. Thank you for watching me. Please subscribe to my channel, dear viewers.